The man you are seeing currently on your screen is named Austin Smith. He is a Hebrew Israelite who's been accused of killing 4 people recently here in Phoenix, Arizona, including 2 of his children, his longtime girlfriend, and another man. This is a man he injured who is the camp leader of the group, and I know because I had personal interaction with them, which I'm going to share with you today. My name is Vocab Malone, and welcome to Street Apologist Radio. Although this is not a program like any other. Not going to do intro music. There's not going to be any freestyles. In fact, this video is demonetized, so you will not be able to give to the super chat, and just like the one before it, because we're dealing with something very different here today. A tragedy of epic proportions here in Phoenix, and I knew 3 of the people involved. And I've been researching this since I found out about it. Shout out to my man Robert Dominguez, for sharing this information with me. Although it is not information I am glad to share, it needs to be talked about because the news media, I don't think they're trying to hide anything. They just simply don't understand what they're dealing with. And so the news media has not really explained the dynamics of this story because they don't really understand them. In fact, I saw some reports where Austin Smith, who's accused again of quadruple homicide, described him as a Muslim. Certainly, Austin was not a Muslim, and I know him. I'm not saying I have his phone number. I'm not saying I go over to his house, but I've talked to him in real life, as well as the other man pictured, who is injured but still alive by God's grace. And I just found out right before I went live that the other man who was murdered, remember I mentioned his longtime girlfriend or wife, it's a little unclear with the details, was murdered by Austin because of an accusation of adultery. That's why. 2 of his 3 precious little children. I mean, I can't even show their pictures on here because, excuse me, there's a fly. Because it's just heartbreaking. In fact, showing his picture on here is difficult. The show was going to be kind of that way. No music in this show, different type of thing. But I just found out right before I went live, sorry I got sidetracked by my own thoughts, that Ron Freeman, another man who Austin murdered, who was described as his brother, or a friend of the family. He was going over to the brother. Ron Freeman was also a member of this same camp. So Austin killed a fellow member of his camp, Ron Freeman, and he also injured his own camp leader, the man pictured on the screen. I do not know his name. I believe he's described as 33 years old. Now, why are we talking about this today? Well, it's recent. It just happened, and I've waited I waited a little bit of time, and also there's been a little bit of time that's passed by since this happened. No Hebrew Israelites have talked about it, and no one in the news media has explained the religious dimensions to the story. And again, I think it's because they don't understand. I'm not going to smear all Hebrew Israelites or people who adhere to Hebrew Israelism by talking about this. But let me ask you, if you're a Hebrew Israelite and you're watching, I know you guys dislike me. I know that just by me being one of the first people to talk about this, you're going to be upset. Just ask yourself, should this not be discussed? Do you think members of your community should just sweep this under the rug like it doesn't matter? And are you going to deny that Austin's religious beliefs don't play a major role in these actions? Especially to the One West camps, and especially to GMS, because this group was a breakoff of GMS. I'm going to repeat, breakoff. Great Millstone Israelites are one of the more radical groups as far as Hebrew Israelites go. I've said that for a long time. Sometimes I call them the worst of the worst of the worst. Nonetheless, I'll talk to them respectfully on the street. I do not hate them. I love them. I want to see them come to Christ. But their belief system is wicked because it proclaims to be based upon Scripture. And it's a radical distortion and twisting of proportions that I have rarely seen. Now, it's happened before, but they definitely are, they take the cake in a lot of ways as far as eisegesis goes. Now, the name of this camp is, I don't know if it's still going to be around now, Yahushai's Servants in Israel. Now, in one other broadcast, I think I said Yahushai's Servants in Yisrael. And the reason why I said that is because it seems consistent to me, if you're going to do Yahushai, that it's to be Yisrael. However, the actual camp's name was Israel, and they're actually on my book. Does anyone have my book that I've written on the history and beliefs of this group on them? I actually did not grab it before the show began. I was scrambling. If someone has it, could you please go to the chart section where I list some of the camps? Tell me what page I list Yahushai's Servants in Israel on, because they are listed among groups, and I would like to give the page number for everybody. Now, I'm not going to be putting up links for my books or anything like that on this program, and in fact, there's only one type of link I'm going to be putting up today. And I'm going to show you what it is right now. Ron Freeman's Memorial Fund and Dasia Patterson's GoFundMe for her as well. Let me explain what these are. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I want all the people of Street Apologists, the supporters and everything else, who normally would give here in the super chat to the program, I'm going to ask you guys to instead give to the Memorial Fund. Let me explain to you who Dasia Patterson is. That's his longtime girlfriend, sometimes described as wife in some of the accounts. But because her last name is Patterson and his is Smith, it seems like longtime girlfriend, whom he would describe as a wife, seems to be accurate. It seems to be a longtime girlfriend. It appears they had 3 children together, from what I can discern. One of whom I wonder if I met, because there's a video where I'm speaking to this camp, and there's a child walking around, but I can't tell. It's not clear enough, but I wonder if that was his child. Dear Lord. I want you guys to go there. Dasia Patterson is dead. She was murdered. She didn't do anything to deserve this. 2 little girls also have been murdered. 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. Precious little girls. When you see their pictures, you'll just want to weep. Let's support that GoFundMe. The link is on the screen. When you go there, I want them to know Christians are supporting them. So, when you go there and donate, which I'm asking you to do during this program, look at the amount right now, and let's see how much within these 2 hours of this show, let's see how much we can raise it up. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to show them the true heart of the church, which is compassion and love. Let's give the Dasia Patterson and these 2 little girls. The youngest, the 3-year-old, is actually in the care of Child Protective Services. That's the old name. I believe they have a new name now here in Phoenix. It's no longer actually CPS, but I always forget the new name. But you understand that. And as someone who was involved with foster care, taking in children for almost a decade myself, I know what that means for a 3-year-old girl. And think about what she's been through. We want to give money so Grandma or whoever, because Grandma made, this is Dasia's mom, some news appearances, and she's clearly just broken up. Okay, it's page 20. But thank you, Don. You said it's page 20 to 22. Can you find out what page actually Yahushai's Servants in Israel is listed? Okay, I'm going to go back to the GoFundMe, but I need to address a comment real quick. Judah Lion Roar 777 says they weren't a break-off of GMS. They were kicked out of GMS because they weren't right. Austin was one of the reasons which his actions now display this. Now, I'm trying to understand break-off between being kicked out. To me, they got kicked off, so they got broke. I guess you're saying they didn't break off on their own will. They were kicked out forcefully. I think that's what you're trying to say. Okay, we could call them excommunicated members of GMS then, even though I don't know if that's really the official process to be called in your religion. But the fact is that I saw 2 videos from GMS Los Angeles camp where they talked about the GMS Phoenix camp, which is one of the very reasons I got into doing apologetics and evangelism to Hebrew Israelites, is because of my interaction with the GMS Phoenix group. So I interacted with them before they were kicked out by the heads. I interacted with them way back in the day by the light rail on 19th Avenue in Camelback. And I uploaded that audio, and it kind of went viral, and so I've been dealing with this ever since. And so, but the fact is, there's a problem with GMS's doctrine. There's a problem with how you view women. There's a problem with lots of issues within GMS. And so a lot of times when a little camp becomes too radical for you guys, they're even worse than where they spurn from a lot of times. A perfect example is a situation that happened in the Carolinas. Someone could look this up as well. Just type in Carolina, and it's either Peter Moses or Peter David or Peter Joseph, and put murder or homicide. He also killed his children and one of his wives. This is not the first time a GMS renegade has done something like this. You know? Okay, thank you, Don. I got it. It's page 21. So I mentioned Yahushai's servants in Israel, which was the name of the camp. It wasn't GMS. Again, they were excommunicated members. I mentioned them in the book because I've dealt with them. Now back to the GoFundMe. I want everyone to especially give to Dasia Patterson's. When you give, say something like, I am a Christian. I heard about this from Vocab. I heard about this from a Christian ministry. I heard about this from a Christian apologist. I heard about this from Street Apologist Media. I heard about this from anything like that. You don't have to say my name. I'm just giving you options. Everyone that gives, Christians, please, even if you're not a Christian, let's say you're an atheist and watching this, when you give as well, would you let them know where you heard about this? Because what I want to do, I want to show them the love that is in our hearts. And even though we confront these groups in a strong way, it's because we love them and we love those whom they love. And you see now that this doctrine ends up affecting other people. And if it was out of concert with Hebrew Israelite doctrine, that'd be one thing. But I think his actions are in concert ultimately with Hebrew Israelite doctrine. And we'll get into that in a second here. Now let me go to the other memorial page. Again, I am asking everyone that can to please give something. I'm going to be giving either during the broadcast, if I can manage to do that, or after myself. I would like as many of you to do the same thing. And again, let them know who you are and where you came from, please. Ron Freeman's Memorial Fund. I have met Ron Freeman as well. I didn't know his name. I don't know a lot of these guys' names unless it's difficult to get their name. But I've interacted with him, and you're going to see him in some of these videos. He was one of the bigger men. He's a big dude. And I liked him. You know, he had a gentle, calm, quiet spirit. Austin shot him in the back, murdered him. Let's give to his memorial fund, please. Give to Ron Freeman's memorial fund. I'll give you his Hebrew Israelite name, although I don't necessarily think that's necessarily relevant here. His Hebrew Israelite Lashawan Quadash name is Barazal, which in real Hebrew would be Barzal, and it means iron. So Ron Freeman's name, Barazal, which is the Lashawan Quadash way of saying iron. Thank you, Abu, for that information. So I'm going to actually show you guys, I would like to show you the two GoFundMe places to give. And I really want you guys to give, okay? So let's take a look at this right now. This is for Dasia Patterson. And look, there's the little girls. They are no longer with us. Let me see if I can do this right now. I don't know if it's going to let me. This is a test. I don't think they need a tip. This might work. I donated because I believe in Romans 12:15. Look up Romans 12:15. All right, let's see if this works. I may be able to do this right on the air. You know what? All right. It's let's see if this works. Okay, they're trying. Well, obviously, I'm not going to do that on the air. Okay, this is going to have to happen later. I didn't know it was like that. I wish there was some kind of automatic. I didn't know it. I didn't realize that. I'm not going to. Okay, well, let's go back and look at that. We'll do that after the program. But I encourage you guys to give the Dasia Patterson. Remember, it's her as well as these two little precious girls. It's organized by a family member from Cali there. It's trending. They're going to need a lot. This is some serious funeral expenses right here. We're talking $30,000 here. Praise God, the campaign is trending, though. That's good. Let's make this trending more. And again, let them know your beliefs and where you're coming from, okay? Share this on Facebook, okay? Let's show them what Christian love looks like, everyone. And then over here, we've got Ron Freeman as well. You could tell from the GoFundMe right here that the man is a Hebrew Israelite. Well, you could probably guess this is kind of what I'm saying here. Now, he needs some as well. I encourage you to if whatever you have, maybe give 90% to the family and then 10% to Ron or something like that. And that's nothing against Ron, but it's one person versus the three, and then they got to get their little girl back too. But I encourage you to give here as well. Let's read this. This is for a great and wonderful brother, father, son, and friend to so many people. He was taken away and called home way too soon. My brother is a true patriotic American who served his country with honor and prestige. The father of 8. Oh, my goodness. The father of 8. I didn't see that till just now. I had no idea. Oh, my goodness. What are we going to do about this, guys? The father of 8? Father of 8 represented what truth, honor, loyalty, and life means. He told me the strength of a family, like the strength of an army, is in its loyalty to each other. This father put himself in the line to protect others, and we must not let his passing be in vain. Let's continue to honor his memory and let the light shine through in this dark place. We, the family of my brother Ron Freeman, thank you for all your condolences, prayers, and well wishes. We ask that you donate whatever you can spare to help us cover funeral expenses. This was quite unexpected, and we thank you all in advance. Again, please give to both of these. Help for the family of Dasia Patterson. Dasia's life was tragically cut short along with 2 of 3 of her beautiful small children. Please help Cynthia, that's the grandma, Patterson, with expenses for burial for her beautiful daughters, Dasia, and 2 of her beautiful grandchildren. Also, the need to care for the precious 3-year-old survivor. Family really needs your support. Thank you. All right. I mean, wait. How did you do that? Well, I thought Super Chat was disabled because the video is demonetized, meaning there's no ads that are going to run on this. It's demonetized. But I just looked, and apparently you still can give them the Super Chat. I did not know you could do that if a video is demonetized. So apparently you guys can give them the Super Chat. Whatever you guys give in the Super Chat today, I will make part of the donation I give after this program, and I'll share it with you guys here after the program is over. Okay, so I guess you can give in the Super Chat, but it'd be better to give directly to their GoFundMe, everyone, because Google takes out a little bit. Google takes out a percentage, I'll just say it that way. So if you have a choice between the GoFundMe and the Super Chat for the program, do the GoFundMe. But if you're not able to do the one, then do the Super Chat, and I'll get it to them after the program. Okay, now I'm going to show some pictures here. Actually, these are slow motion videos, rather. I'm sorry. There is Austin, and I want you to look. That's Austin, and that was me talking to him. There's Austin again. There's no question he's a Hebrew Israelite, to anyone who's wondering. This is Hebrew Israelite activity. This video is relatively recent. This is from my phone. These video images come from my phone. This is the camp leader who Austin also injured, and you can see there in an image from a news report, there he is. And him and I disagree, and he's threatened me. This man on the screen has threatened me. However, I still respect him, and I still wish him well and want to see him fully recovered. He was not in critical condition or anything like that. I want to see him fully recovered, and I'd like to be able to talk to him again. But this is the camp leader of Yahushai's servants in Israel. My guess is why was he there? He was either probably having some kind of study, or he's doing something with Ron Freeman, who's a fellow camp member, or perhaps he was trying to stop the situation. Maybe he heard about what was going on, because as you're going to see here in a second when I start reading these news reports, this happened over multiple places. So now let's read the news reports. I'm debating, should I read them to you, or should I show them on the screen? Let me read it to you first, okay? And then we'll talk. This is from Atlanta. I believe it's the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, AJC.com. I'm going to read this, dated April 15, 2019, okay? Police. 3-year-old hid under the bed. His dad killed mom, 2 sisters, because God told him to. Phoenix. An Arizona man is accused of gunning down and beating to death his wife and 2 of his small daughters, quote, because he believed God told him to do so, police officials said. Now, this is a little bit of a problem already. He was there because it was his apartment. No, see, Judeline, you don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying the camp leader. So apparently Ron Freeman and the camp leader, I don't know his name, Judeline Roar 777, but apparently you might. It seems they might have stayed together. I do know some of the old guys from GMS Arizona. I don't know if he's one of them, though. DeAndre, Ricky, Shamgar, Yashimaya, those are Yadarash. Those are some of the guys whose names I know. I don't know. But so that means the suspected guy, who is his brother and Ron Freeman and the camp leader, all live together. I guess that's what you're saying. Okay, we have a Ron live with Yashimai. Oh, so the camp leader is Yashimai. I mispronounced it before. I said Yashimai. Okay, so they've been living together for a while, because I think 5 years ago that was mentioned. So Ron lived with Yashimai. Judeline Roar 777, do you know if the brother whom Austin was going to murder, was he also a Hebrew Israelite? Do you know that? But let me continue reading the story. Austin Elijah Smith's youngest daughter, who turned 3 over the weekend, survived the attack on her mother and sisters by hiding under a bed, KTVK in Phoenix reported. She was found uninjured by police officers who went to the family's home Thursday night. So this happened Thursday. The officers found the bodies of Smith's wife, Dasia Patterson, 29, and 2 of their children, Mayan Smith, 7, and Nasha Smith, 5, inside the home, KTVK reported. Patterson and Nasha Smith died of gunshot wounds, police officials said. This is one of the worst parts about Mayan, the 7-year-old. Mayan Smith died of blunt force trauma, according to the news station. And the pictures that are appearing online of Dasia are, she seems like a precious person. She's got the head wrap on, so it seemed like in some way she was adhering to what Austin wanted her to. But everything that we've heard about her from family, it doesn't matter in a way. Even if she was a mean person, this is unjust and wicked cruelty. And unless Austin repents and turns to the gospel of Jesus Christ, he'll be severely judged. Now, I'm not saying I'm any better or any worse than him. All I know is I'm a horrible sinner, like John Newton said. But you know what? Jesus is a much greater a Savior than I am a sinner. He's more powerful than my sin. Continuing on. And the same thing goes to every Hebrew Israelite listening. We've been working on this all night, Phoenix Police Sergeant Tommy Thompson said during a Friday morning news conference outside the Smith family home. Okay, earlier what I was trying to say is about the idea of God told him. Sorry, I know my thoughts are a little scattered. I'm trying to get this together. I'm getting it together here, people. This is a problem because some of the news thinks that Austin thinks he got a message from God, like he was hearing voices, and then went and killed. That's not it. It's his interpretation of what he thinks is just to do in the 21st century to an adulterer, even though he didn't have 2 or 3 witnesses. So he didn't even do this properly, even under Old Testament law. And that's what I tell a lot of the Hebrew Israelites. You guys don't even do the Old Testament law you do properly. And we're going to get back to that, because I am going to critique the doctrine. My heart is filled with empathy, but I don't have empathy for wicked Hebrew Israelite doctrine. My heart is filled with empathy for these beautiful little children. And Ron Freeman, yes, he's a man made in the image of God. And Dasia. I don't have empathy for the wicked Hebrew Israelite doctrine, though. I'm going to let you know that. Austin Smith, 30, is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder in connection with his family's deaths, authorities said. Father was supposed to be a protector. Said he was a murderer. He is also accused of killing a man at a second crime scene. We're going to get into that. Smith is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Ron Freeman, 46, also Phoenix. That's the other memorial fund I'm asking you guys to give to. He's also charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of kidnapping and discharging a firearm at a residence. Here's what's interesting. He admitted to all this stuff. Austin Smith admitted to all this stuff. And when they were reading him his charges, the only time he spoke, as far as at this point, was when they said kidnapping. He said, kidnapping who? I mean, it would almost be funny if it wasn't tragic. Like, meaning he said nothing about, killing his kids and all. And then they get to kidnapping, and he says, well, who did I kidnap? Which, to be honest, he kind of has a point. Who did he kidnap? I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm just saying. Oh, it says it right here. Smith was quiet during his initial court appearance until the judge mentioned the kidnapping charge. Kidnapping who? Smith asked, according to footage of his appearance from the Maricopa County Jail, into which he was booked early Friday. And I'm going to show you that video here in a second, and it is harrowing. The judge told him he should talk to his attorneys before speaking to her directly. Prosecutors requested $2 million cash bond based on the nature of the crimes and the seriousness of the charges. Smith's public defenders asked for a reasonable bond for their client. The judge said the requested bond was reasonable, pointing to the nature of the crime, Smith's flight risk, and the strength of the evidence. She cited his alleged confession to police as part of that evidence. KTVK reported that Smith told investigators the violence began at his home after his wife came home from a bar Thursday night. According to a police report, Smith said Patterson denied having an affair with his brother, but he shot her because he believed God told him to do so. I'd be interested to hear actually the words that came out of Smith's mouth, because I bet you he didn't literally say what they're reporting he said. My bet is they don't even understand really what he's saying. They don't understand Hebrew Israelism. He then killed Dasia Smith because, this is horrible, listen to this. She exhibited bad behavior he deemed against God's laws, the news station reported. Now, this is getting even worse. Listen to this. Mayan Smith was crying about the slaying, Smith told investigators. So, Mayan is crying. I think she's a 7-year-old. He said he, quote, believed you should not weep for the wicked. So he punched her in the face several times with a closed fist, KTVK said. Now look. Wait. Mikhail Israel says, come on, vocab, don't make this a doctrine issue. The man obviously had an evil spirit on him. Some jakes teach crazy stuff, but they don't act it out. It's always a doctrine issue. Always a doctrine issue. I'm not condemning all Hebrew Israelites, number one. This is one particular man as part of one particular camp. In fact, he killed 2 other fellow camp members. However, he's doing this because he thinks in the 21st century, readers of the Bible are still supposed to kill adulterers. But this shows the problem with Hebrew Israelism. They know part of something and don't know the rest. Meaning, even if he thought that was true, he didn't have 2 or 3 witnesses, and there's a whole list of other things you're supposed to do. Even if he thought it was true. But the problem is it's not true. We're in the new covenant. We are not a theocratic state. The church deals with discipline in a much different way than Israel, as the new Israel, which she is. Some of you have a problem with that, but look at 1 Corinthians 5. There's a man in sexual immorality there. Paul said, don't even eat with such a man. But he didn't say, kill him, hunt him down, anything like that. It's an excommunication for the body with the hope of restoration. So Hebrew Israelism is inconsistent because you guys hold to one part of the doctrine. You say we got to keep the law, but you don't keep the judgments. Here's what I mean by that. Part of the Old Testament law, if we're going to be consistent here, which Hebrew Israelites are not. Austin was being a little more consistent, unfortunately, in some ways. Part of it is, as far as the OT goes, is that keeping the law is also enacting the statutes of judgments against those who break the commands. Do you understand this? You guys don't do that. I'm glad you don't. I hope more of you stay inconsistent. But that's why he's saying this. Now, I want someone to help me out. Where is the verse that says you should not weep for the wicked? Let's take a look at this here. Maybe he means Jeremiah 22:10. I'm sorry, I know that my camera's up here and I'm looking down a little bit here. Let's take a look here. Jeremiah 22:10. Now I don't know exactly what he means. What would be the justification? I see things that are not. I don't even see the justification for this. I'm trying to understand this. Jeremiah 22:10. See, this has to do with a specific time and place. This is the death of a wicked king, and it says, "Weep not for him who is dead, nor grieve for him, but weep bitterly for him who goes away, for he shall return no more to see his native land." Even right here. So, weep not for him who is dead. Oh, this is interesting. This is not even saying that. See, I'm trying to interpret it in a way that he could interpret. I'm trying to see what verse he would use. So this is actually saying, don't cry for the dead. It's worse for the living. That's what this verse is saying. It has to do with the king of Judah and what's going to be happening to Israel because of her wickedness. So that couldn't be it. I mean, there's other places where I don't know what he's saying, but here's what I want to share, which is someone I see sharing it right now actually on the screen, which is literally the opposite. And there's a whole bunch of verses like this. Here's Ezekiel 18:23. It says this. Well, first of all, let's start with verse 21. "But if a wicked person turns away from all his sins that he has committed and keeps all of my statutes and does what is just and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. None of the transgressions that he has committed shall be remembered against him. For the righteousness that he has done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure in the death of the wicked, declares the Lord God, and not rather that he should turn from his way and live?" Do you guys see that? You see that? And you go on, and it's all about forgiveness in verse 24 and 25. But God is saying by this rhetorical question, I do not take pleasure in the death of the wicked. So I don't even know what he would be talking about there. But nonetheless, here we go. No, Mikhail, you look at this. Look at the camp that rejected him. Look at these comments. GMS, how to be a god. First of all, look at this guy's name. This is the problem. You guys think you are judge, jury, and executioner. GMS, how to be a god? Your religion is a giant power trip. And then here's the bad thing. I don't like this prediction I'm about to make, but I'm going to make it. And you Hebrewites are going to get mad, but it's just a fact. The more your religion grows, which it is growing, the more guys like Austin you're going to get. Because these acts are not discordant with a lot of key premises, especially in One West Hebrew Israelism. This is going to happen more, not less, because you're going to have more sort of radicalized guys in different types and stripes. It's going to get worse. But, vocab, you don't deserve to hold a Bible. Why don't you warn the people what's to come? Are you concerned at all about these dead girls, GMS, how to be God, and the dead fellow Hebrew Israelite? And instead, I'm supposed to preach like you? That's part of the problem, GMS, how to be a God. Mikhail, it's not inconsistent if you know the OT and NT capital punishment was removed from us. See, these are the types of excuses, people who say they keep the law but actually can't. That's the types of excuses you make. You don't get a pass. You don't get a pass. You either do it or you don't. And I'm glad more of you are inconsistent, but it just shows the inconsistencies. And I do know. That's why I'm bringing it out. Maya Smith was crying about the slaying. Smith told investigators he said he believed you should not weep for the wicked, so he punched her in the face several times with a closed fist. Even if you didn't believe you should weep for the wicked, do you think a good response is to punch the person in the face? Austin Smith also threw the girl against the ceiling and the floor. Threw her against the ceiling and the floor, the report said. He ultimately killed Mayan by beating her in the head with a baseball bat, police authorities said. They said the guy who investigated this actual crime scene, he said he's an experienced guy. The other cop who was the spokesperson was talking about it. He said this is one of the worst scenes he's ever seen. According to the report, Smith told investigators he didn't kill his 3-year-old daughter, quote, because she reminded him of himself. There is the selfish, narcissistic, egocentric, megalomaniacal streak that a lot of Hebrewites have, and that's why they have a religion that makes God all about their race. The other 2 girls, quote, reminded him of his wife, whom he considered wicked in the eyes of God, KTVK reported. The second crime scene was an apartment where Smith's brother was living. So he thought that the person who was doing the affair, which there's no evidence of, was his own brother. So he went there to murder his own brother. So he drove there after killing. So he had time to think about it and process it. He had just killed 2 of his daughters, his wife, and now he's going to kill his brother. The news station reported it was his brother with whom Smith believed Patterson was cheating. When he arrived at the apartment the night of the killings, he first encountered Freeman. Please give to Ron Freeman's memorial fund. He was a fellow camp member in Yahushai's servants in Israel, but he's a man made in the image of God, and he's got a family. Let him know Christians care. When he arrived at the apartment the night of the killings, he first encountered Freeman, who was a friend of this family. Smith, quote, confronted this victim with the belief Austin's brother was cheating with Austin's wife, the police report said. So he comes and says to Ron, hey, my wife's messing around with my brother. When the man told Smith he was crazy for the suggestion, Smith shot him multiple times, the report said. He then reloaded and shot Freeman several more times as he lay on the floor, police officials said. This is hard to read. Smith is accused of going out to his vehicle and returning with a rifle. Look at the premeditation involved here, in which he shot 2 more people attempting to help the mortally wounded Freeman. So Ron Freeman is dying. There's people helping him, and then he shoots them, one of whom must have been his camp leader. I'm going to show you video where I interact with him. A 47-year-old woman was left in critical condition, and pray for her recovery. We don't know who this is right now. Pray for her. And a 33-year-old man suffered serious injuries. Smith considered those victims co-conspirators with his wife, KTVK reported. Though police did not identify either of the surviving shooting victims, Freeman's mother told ABC 15 in Phoenix that they were Smith's brother and Freeman's girlfriend. Here's what's interesting. One of the reasons GMS main camp kicked this Yahushai servants in Israel out is because of the sell your shirt and buy a sword doctrine that the leader was teaching. And apparently it means you can pack weapons. And so when I interacted with these men on the street, they always had weapons. One time the cops got called because someone thought they were a gun, and they were like, no, these aren't guns. They were like nightsticks. But Austin was one of the ones who had some kind of pouch belt, and it was unclear what kind of weapon it was. It was difficult to tell from the way the holder was, but I remember when I was talking to him, Austin was one of the people carrying weapons while I'm talking to him. And remember, these are the same guys who threatened me, including Austin. Now, if Yahushai servants in Israel watch this, they'll try to claim it didn't happen. Some of the threats are on camera, some aren't, because you guys were threatening to destroy our camera, which also is on camera. Though police did not identify either of the surviving shooting victims, I'm doing so right now. That's the camp leader of Yahushai servants in Israel, who I guess is named Yashamai. Freeman's mother told ABC 15 in Phoenix that they were Smith's brother and Freeman's girlfriend. Oh, sorry, I messed up on how I said that. You guys understand what I'm saying. I'm talking about the people who survived. Smith's brother and Freeman's girl. Oh, so wait. Is the camp leader Austin's brother? Now I'm a little confused. See, we're trying to figure this out. But anyways, hold on. Someone at the scene that night called 911. Smith was arrested a short time later as he fled his brother's apartment complex in his vehicle. Thompson described the scene as chaotic, with first responders working to help the victims while uncertain where the gunman was at the time. He said it was one of the victims at the second crime scene who expressed concern over the safety of Smith's wife and children. So they were already dead, but someone was worried about them. Their bodies and the surviving child were found during a welfare check, Thompson said during the news conference. Oh, man, this is the worst. Patterson's mother, Cynthia Patterson, told ABC 15 that her family had been preparing to celebrate a high school graduation, but instead now must plan 3 funerals. Give to their fund. Give to Dasia Patterson's GoFundMe, please, and let them know you're a Christian. My daughter is one of the most humble people in the world, Cynthia Patterson told the news station. Sweet, honest, and wouldn't harm anyone. She also talked about her grandchildren who were slain. They were the most beautiful, sweetest children in the world, she said. The Patterson family also released the following statement Friday night. We are in anguish over the senseless loss of our beloved Dasia and her young children. As we try to process our profound grief, our focus is on the welfare of her sole surviving 3-year-old daughter. That's a right focus. That's a right focus, guys. That's good. She just lost her mother and sisters, and we want nothing more than for her to be with her family right now. Imagine how traumatized this little girl is. We understand that it is this weekend, but we are hoping that the authorities can help reunite us with her as soon as possible. Yeah, get on it. Seriously. Reunite them. Grandma didn't do anything wrong. Austin's no longer there. They need to be back together so that she is not in the care of strangers at this incredibly painful time. That's right. Foster care is good, but it can be good, I'll say. But it doesn't replace a loving family. Finally, we ask that the public respect our privacy so that we may begin healing. Freeman's mother, Sharon Fells, and that's true, do that. However, give to their GoFundMe. They'll appreciate that. Freeman's mother, Sharon Fells, said her son had no idea. Hold on, I gotta go back to this. Guys, it's hard to look at all the comments today. I apologize. I much love to all of y'all, even the Hebrewites up in here. Much love, but I just can't look at all these today. It's a different type of program we've got. Freeman's mother, Sharon Fells, said her son had no idea Smith's wife and children were dead when he was confronted by the alleged killer. My son turned his back on him and he shot my son in the back, Fells said of Freeman, who lived in the apartment adjacent to Smith's brother apartment. Okay, so it looks like the camp leader is Austin Smith's brother, but they must be half-brothers, or it's just, they do not look alike at all. And it looks like Freeman lived beside the camp leader. Fells told ABC 15 her son was a U.S. Marine veteran who was survived by 8 children. Oh, my goodness. On a GoFundMe page set up to pay for Freeman's funeral, which I ask you guys to give to. His sister, Lisa Freeman, describes her brother as a true patriotic American who serves his country with honor and prestige. Fells said he is finding solace where she can. The one thing that brings me peace is that I know where he is, and he is with God now. That's why this is important. Ron Freeman is dead. And all indications were he did not believe the gospel of Jesus Christ. And to people who know their Bibles, you understand the implications of that. Yet, we also know our Bibles in Romans. And I want to turn here before I show the video. Because when I show the video, it's the program is going to be a little bit different. It's a guess. I'm saying they're half-brothers because their names are different. M-O-2-D-T-A. If one, it appears their last names are different, actually. Yeah, well, hold on. No, that doesn't make sense. Mainly because they don't look alike. Okay, anyways, let's look here. So some of this you can see. I know other things are a bit unclear, but let's look at Romans 12:15. Now, this is directly written to God's people, first and foremost, but I do think we can extend this principle out to the larger world, because we're to do good first to those of the household of faith, but it doesn't stop there. And so let me read Romans 12. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. But you know what? Let me read more of this. Let me start here in verse 9. This is to Christians. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil, and this is evil. You Hebrewites in here criticizing me, you should be upset about this killing, not about my live stream. Shame on you. Hebrewites in here coming to attack me instead of dealing with this issue. Shame on you. Check your doctrine. Check your behavior. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the saints and seek to show hospitality. Now, we don't know, the family surviving, if they're believers or not, but we can show hospitality. We can contribute to their needs and pray that they are. And if not, let's pray that a strong showing of Christian love will let them see the gospel in action, right? right? Verse 14 of Romans chapter 12. Bless those who persecute you. This goes for people dealing with Hebrewites. You bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. And by the way, Hebrewites, why do you always curse people? Haven't you read this verse? Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. We weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Now, this camp didn't practice it. They're out on the street yelling at people in my neighborhood. I could walk to where this camp sets up. Yahushua servants in Israel. 5 minutes, I'm there. This is literally in my neighborhood. I don't live in the suburbs. I live where they set up. I mean, these guys, they live farther from the spot than I do. It's actually my neighborhood. They're driving from 67th and Camelback or Indian School or whatever, and 59th and Osborne or whatever. I'm not dissing. I'm just saying this is my. And you know, they're not trying to live at peace with people with this stuff, right? Beloved, never avenge yourselves. Hear that? But leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repeat, says the Lord. To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. So, whether this family's believers or not, we got verses like this. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink, for by so doing you will heap burning coals on his head. Let's show the Hebrewites how much God's people love them. Make sure when you give to these two accounts on the bottom, make sure they know you're a believer in Jesus Christ and the gospel. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And that's what we want to do. We want to overcome evil with good. But we've also got to expose. Yes, I have it in slow mode. GMS Adamant Stone, Baltimore. By the way, I know about your guys' split doctrine or split camp too. You got a couple camps down there in Baltimore now. You guys can't get it together. All you guys do is split, because the second you guys have a little disagreement, you start cursing each other to hell. Your doctrine makes you act wild. I see it. I see your videos when you call each other out. Guy's your brother, now all of a sudden he's a blankety blank. Yeah, I've got it slowed down because there's over 200 people in this live stream. If you don't like it, God bless you. Have a nice day. All right, we're going to play some of these clips now, and I'm going to show you Austin Smith, myself, Ron Freeman, and some of the clips, and the camp leader. I want to make sure I pronounce the name right. Yashamai. You're going to see all of them. Yashamai is injured. Ron Freeman is dead. Austin Smith is locked up. So, here we go. Let me know if you can hear these and see these. We are now going to play some of the clips. These are from my phone. Here's where it's going to get very interesting, everyone. See? That's
whoever these people are. So,
but what you did
so
was
you can talk to them if you want.
That's me standing beside Austin Smith. It's dark, I know, it's hard to tell, but that's him. You can tell.
Familiar with our community. You see what I'm saying?
Well, of course. How else are you going to talk to people?
Right. So because you made yourself familiar, and then I watched the way you did.
The man talking is the camp leader, Yashamai, who is injured. Again, pray for his recovery and let him know that the gospel is the only thing to overcome what's happened. But I'm standing beside Austin, and you hear Yashamai's voice.
When you're in front of your peers, besides us or the Israelites, how you did. How you make kind of a mockery of.
That was, to be fair, that was like one of my first interviews. But
how you get judged off
I got
appearance of things.
There's some things I would do different, but there's some things I wouldn't. But I'll tell you this: the only reason people talk about it is because it was engaging. A lot of these videos is boring, man, and people just. But what I did was a lot more engaging. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the reasons why. But so there's 4 people. I mean,
people like drama. People like that. I bet you they like drama, but they're not being edified. They just want to see shit going on.
Yeah,
we got a lot of people come out here that just want to see fucking bullshit. You know how when there's a fight, everybody.
Yeah.
People start coming out of holes.
Cut it off now.
There's the first clip. Austin, Yashamai, who is in the hospital, and me talking. Second clip. That is Austin in Hebrew Israelite garb on 19th Avenue, Camelback.
What we're talking about is correct. Vocab Malone.
No, Money Johnson, that was not Austin. That was not Austin talking. You're incorrect. I don't know if you think you know him, but that's the camp leader that was talking. Austin was in the picture, but that was not Austin speaking. So I'm not trying to be mean enough that money jumping, but that was not Austin. That was the camp leader, Yashamai, speaking. Austin will speak later.
Just so,
He just got to increase his vocabulary.
It's true.
I believe that's Ron Freeman. You guys see? That's Ron Freeman, I believe. You guys see right there?
I made a video called
Notice he has weapons. Now, again, this is not, you know, just notice he has weapons.
Things the Hebrew Israelites get right.
Yeah, but it was all, it was, you
saw that one too?
I see.
So I'm gonna turn on the volume here. But you see how I'm trying to be cordial, friendly with them? They know I oppose their doctrine. So that's not some secret. I'm not trying to hide it. They're like, oh, vocab moves like a snake. No, I don't try to hide the fact that I disagree with the doctrine and all that. Now, this clip's long. It's 12 minutes, so I don't think I'm actually going to show it all. I'm just going to have it there because there's Ron Freeman. And, again, I'm asking you to give to his GoFundMe page. It was on the screen earlier. I'm going to put it back up. But if someone could drop the link for Ron Freeman's and also Dasia's, because while I'm playing these video clips, the GoFundMe links aren't on the front page, but I am going to go back to it. Now, what I'm going to do briefly, there's Austin. You see? That's him right there. This is the man. He was the reader a lot of the times. This is a faithful Hebrew Israelite. He's out there every Saturday. Might go back to this clip. Let's see. I played about a minute of it, but it's long, so I'm going to play some other clips, okay? All right. Hold on. There's Austin, and there's the camp leader.
Yes, all the earth is flat. I believe the Bible says the firmament.
Now, if you look what's going on,
Yes or no? Does the Bible say the earth is flat? Does it or does it not? You tell me. It says right
fix
here.
this here.
God sits above the circle of the earth. Is a circle a ball?
Let me turn this volume down actually for the video. Okay, so if you look closely here, you guys have seen this man in another video that I did. Because, yeah, there's Ron. I believe that's Ron right there. But and there's Austin, and that's the camp leader. So there's three guys that you just saw on the frame. And there's another guy with his fringes, the older man looking over, kind of with the glare there. But the guy that I'm speaking with is not part. I want to make clear he is not. And there's Austin. See him in the background. The guy speaking, and I do not know. I do not know. That was the child I was wondering. I don't know because I haven't looked closely enough, but there is a child present in this video. I hope not. It doesn't make it any better. I don't think so. I just hope not. I didn't look close enough at the pictures of the children. I couldn't bring myself to do it, to study it. There he is, though. Not Austin. That's the camp leader. See? The news media didn't pick up on the clear fact that he got a giant Star of David, the exact same one you see right here. Do you see this? This is a smart guy. He's a man's man from what I can tell. Now, again, he did threaten me, and he's not always cool because he's a Hebrew Israelite and they got to act a certain way in certain situations. However, I got to see another side of him. One day I was out there, and I don't want to exaggerate, but it was 4 to 8 hours. I literally lost track of time. But if you notice those other videos I showed in the beginning that started out when it was night and at the end it was dark, the reason is because one time I spent almost all Saturday with him. And by the end of it, he was pretty personable. The guy right there, we don't know his name other than Yashamai. He was pretty personable by the end of it. Even though he's threatened me and other times has not been as cool, and I respected him, and I could tell how if he wasn't a Hebrew Israelite, we could be cool people. Hebrew Israelite corrupts people. To be frank, my man Gorilla Hebrew, he doesn't understand that I have love and respect for him, but he's also wicked in his actions and how he moves. And you may say, how can you say both? I'm not trying to be duplicitous. I feel like he would be decent by world standards. I don't mean he's good enough to make it in heaven because no one is, right? We all fall short of the glory of God. All sin. Wages of sin is death. But in a lot of ways, I can see how we could build, and I respect him. But then this Hebrew Israelism, it gets in people, corrupts how they would be. Now, the guy I'm talking to, though, here in the video, is actually a flat earther Hebrew Israelite who is not a part of the camp. But he's a flat earth preacher. And I talked to him in my house about this, about sharing the gospel instead of flat earth. And he said he was, but he's still a flat earth preacher. He goes out with tracts and sandwich boards about flat earth at ASU, and he would go to 19th Avenue, Camelback. He would take a or drive all the way down from Tempe to this corner, which is pretty bizarre. But I'm talking to him a lot of the time. And there's, unless I'm mistaken, that's Ron Freeman. You can see the picture of Ron Freeman. He is no longer on this earth because Austin murdered him. And there's Austin right there in the middle. And there's Alberto. You guys know Alberto Nungare? Urban_apologetics. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, wait. Yeah. That, he's not real happy there. There's the camp leader. Let me put this part
Because they don't believe the earth is flat.
Believing that the sun is at the
right,
center of
then
the
what are you
whatever.
here to do?
No.
You're not preaching the gospel, because the gospel right now is only for Israel. That's right.
Well, no, I'll tell you what.
You're wrong, because we went over this.
So the second I came over here,
I know what you're bringing.
you want to talk about a flat earth, not the gospel.
No, I'm not talking. No. You and him.
He's separate.
No. Listen. He spends his time.
Listen to what he says here. Listen to what he's going to say here.
Trying to make the Israelites look like fools on for the whole world to see.
I've never.
Then you gonna come over here and we about to welcome you into that?
Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna entertain that because I'm gonna crush it anyway. You know what we teach? We teach that the Negroes, Latinos,
I don't know what you teach. That's why I'm curious.
No, go get the other camps. IUIC is up there. You know what it is already. Don't keep coming over here, man.
But you're saying you're not
and the devil gonna try to come in the midst while we teach him, and you just gonna let him sit there.
My point is that when you talk to these people, you have to be careful when you interact.
That's Alberto. I'm going to go back to this. This is a little chaotic, but I'm showing video to show you this camp in action. And you can see Austin's feet there. Alberto speaking. Again, subscribe to him on Instagram, urban_apologetics. But there you see Austin. And next to the camp leader. And he's speaking about what happened there the time we went out. Okay, that's not the part where one of the threats happens. Let's see if it's the next video. So there, I'm just showing you. It's him.
I know who he is, man. That's
So this is the first time I ever approached them. This is the very first time. And here's the camp leader who Austin injured. Again, pray for his recovery.
man. You got a question?
Yeah.
I know who he is, man. That's and you got your camera on. I knew we would see him, man. This is the dude that been dealing with all of Israel. What's his name?
Vocab.
Yeah, Vocab Malone.
Yeah, he went to
I knew we would see him because he's here in Arizona.
he was on the radio station.
Right.
It's good to meet you in person.
What he does is he made his job to go.
So he gives a rundown of what he thinks I'm doing. But this clip's so long, it's over 4 minutes. I'm not going to show all of it. Let me show the next clip here. So in this one, you're going to be able to clearly see Austin, I believe, as well. But, I mean, look, you see how clear it is. Again, this is a Hebrew Israelite, not a Muslim, not a Christian. Austin Smith, accused of quadruple homicide, is a Hebrew Israelite. And there he is. And here he's wiling out. So the reader's reading, and they're wiling out. This is a real chaotic scene. This is the time where they're in. These dudes, I don't care what they say. I know the truth. Is God is my witness. I guess I shouldn't say that. I apologize. Please forgive. I'm sorry. But I'm telling you, true as true can be. These dudes were trying to get dudes in the crowd to jump me. And I could tell you numerous examples. John McCrae was there and Alberto Nungare was there. They both know they were egging on the crowd to try to get me hurt. But you know what? We were there. And you know what? If I ever go out to one of these camps and something happens, if it's on camera or it's not, the second people know about it, it's going to be one of the most harmful things to Hebrew Israelite to ever happen. If I go out to a camp and something happens, because it's gonna turn me sort of into a martyr. I'm not saying I really am. Whether it's harmed or dead, it's gonna bring attention and awareness to these guys' heat for not just authorities but gospel carrying Christians like you don't want. Like it's gonna be bad, not good. They could stop me, but they're not gonna stop the gospel counterinsurgency. Know what I'm saying? And honestly, unless they kill me, they're not really gonna stop me either. Straight up. Straight up.
That is fooling! Back to the podium! That is fooling! Back to the podium! That is fooling! Okay, come on! Hey, that will do what? That will live as that will be gods, but die like men. That's right. Right. Go ahead, leave him alone, He gonna pull you into that shit.
Yeah, leave him at. Hey.
Everything already He distracted y'all from the truth.
Look, he don't want to accept the truth.
He doing that, bro.
He don't want to accept the truth, though.
See, they're trying. This is part of the beginning of when they're trying to get the crowd against me.
You don't want to accept the truth.
Are you ready?
I put some of these videos up on my YouTube page. Some of these were only on my phone prior to this. Some of them, though, were actually on my page. And again, remember, Austin Smith, who was the one just teaching there, has murdered his longtime girlfriend or wife, 2 of the 3 of his little girls, and also Ron Freeman, who is a fellow camp member, and injured the camp leader and another woman. And they're in this video, and I interacted with them, and this is why it's important. Let's show the next clip here. Oh, this is I need to walk this in. Okay, let me stop here. This is when he got booked into the Maricopa County Jail. Everyone who has good vision, look on the side of his head. It's a Star of David, fresh carved. This wasn't some dude who wasn't about it. This man went to the barber and said, give me a number 1 with the Star of David on the side. You know what I'm saying? This dude was serious about his Hebrew Israelism. Watch his face during this. And this is what's going to have me say. Besides dealing with Salafi, radicalized, militant-style Muslims, and I didn't say all Muslims, I'm being very specific, Salafi, radicalized, militant-style Muslims, I have never met a religion where I've thought a greater amount of people involved must be, number 1, demon-possessed or demon-oppressed, and I'm not joking. Number 2, carnal. Number 3, have legitimate mental problems. And it's like Hebrew Islamism is a magnet, especially of the One West variety, to those type of folks. All right. Look at these Hebrew Israelites in here in the comment section. I'm just going to have to ignore you guys because you guys, you're so off. Watch this. See the Star of David? Very clear. None of the news media has picked up on this. It shows how uncareful they are in their reporting or how ignorant of religious matters they are. Now watch his face. Disturbing as heck, man. That is disturbing as all get out. I mean, oh Lord. I was standing on the street with this guy right beside him. What happened with this guy? He told me, get the F off this block, or I'm going to move you off this block. Austin Smith told me this. He yelled as loud as a person could yell, as close as you could be in a person's face without being inside their mouth. Right in my face, this. And in so many words, not using nice language, said, I'm going to mess you up or kill you, depending how you want to, what you interpret what he's saying. Why, though? Was it something I specifically said when I was talking to him? Why did Austin Smith say this when I was out there interacting with his camp? Why? You know why he said it? You know why he said it? He said it because I was not using the King James Version of the Bible. Alberto Nungare, urban_apologetics on Instagram, can vouch for this. John McCrae had already went back to the car by this point because he said, guys, this is dangerous. I'm going back to the car. And then he shot a reaction video. He was doing this because I was reading from the ESV and not the King James Version of the Bible. It was bizarre. And here's what's so weird about this. Austin, other than that incident, was the nicest out of all the camp members of Yahushai's servants in Israel. And again, this is not all Hebrewites. This is a GMS group that it was expelled, so they're not a GMS group anymore. They got kicked out 5 years ago. I'm recognizing all that. But this particular local to Phoenix group I dealt with, and this is what was up. And the bizarre thing is, Austin was always the nicest one, except for this moment I'm telling you about. And this was so crazy about how Hebrewism twists and warps people who otherwise might be all right people. Okay, going on to the next clip. There he is again. That's Austin Smith. And you're going to see some of the other guys here in a second. Let's play this. Clip 7 here. Huh. Okay.
This vocabulary, you feel me? You know what I'm saying?
I'll turn this down a little bit. Here. Can you guys hear me over this? It's kind of there. He's preaching.
Preach, brother.
You put that online?
That's right.
I'm gonna put it online. Yes, on Facebook Live.
Everybody knows.
What's your channel?
So he's in the background. Austin Smith, there preaching. He was out there all the time. Like, hardly a Saturday went by, because remember, this is my neighborhood, so I didn't have to travel to go see. I didn't go out there 90% of the time I saw them. I passed by because I had my kids or I was doing something else. But almost every Saturday without fail, they were out there. Now, something's happened recently where I have not seen them as much. I don't know what's going on or whatever. But here's what's bizarre. Here's what's bugged out about this whole situation. And I just mentioned this. Austin was the nicest one. Whenever I would make a joke, none of these guys would laugh. In fact, the camp leader, who again we pray for his speedy recovery, he would always say, "This isn't a joke. This isn't a game, vocab. Why do you think it's funny?" He would say stuff like that to me. We're serious. We're about our Father's business. And I'd be like, "Yeah, me too. But we could still like have light moments, can't we? You know what I'm saying?" There's the 1689. Oh yeah, wait, I mentioned it. Okay, so I mentioned the incident. I don't think I have that recorded, but let me show that because I mentioned what I was talking about. Austin is the one who threatened. Now let's see here. This guy is interviewing me. His name's Nico Rashad. He's like a local street Phoenix reporter. If you live in a sort of a hood, you know what kind of guy I'm talking about. They've always got their phone out. They're always trying to get fights or hookers getting arrested. Sorry, I guess I shouldn't say that, but they're always trying to get stuff like that, and they upload it to their channel and try to become like the local world star thing. Nico Rashad is Phoenix's version of that. But check this out. He's
The first part, do you have the correct translation of the Bible?
Well,
okay, let me go back here. Okay.
This guy's threatening me, but I don't want the police.
Street, yeah, I know I'm with the movement. I'm curious. I came over here completely biased. I seen blacks and I seen police. I pulled up. Kind of find out you the reason why the police came.
Yeah, because this guy's threatening me, but I don't want the police involved. I just want to talk to them.
Why they threaten you? What did you
said
do?
I had the wrong translation of the Bible, so that if I didn't take my Bible back to my car, they were going to beat me up.
Yeah, the wrong translation of the Bible?
Yeah, that's what they said.
So let's start with the first part. Do you have the correct translation of the Bible?
Well, I believe the best thing to do is go to the Greek and Hebrew. That's the original language. But since they wanted the KJV, I went and got my KJV to make them happy. But then they still wasn't cool.
Well, you say that's being said as a real translation?
That's
or
what they're claiming.
Authentic?
I'm cool with other translations.
Well, I don't know.
They say.
Hey, look. Hey, this how y'all know. Look, this how y'all know I'm not a follower. You feel me?
And so I'm reiterating. Now that's Alberto's Bible. Thank you. Hey, moderators, anybody who comes in here and they try to bring like they say agent and they start saying my real name and stuff, put them in timeout. If anyone else does that, just remove them, because like we just don't have time for that. There's over 200 people in here. We don't have time for that. All right. So there's more of that clip, and you get a sense of what's going on. I'm not going to play all these clips, but I'm just giving you a sense. And there he again is preaching in the background. You can see Austin. He's there. I'm not going to play all these, though. You guys get the idea. Let me play this. This is one of the last clips here. Let's see how this one sounds. Turn this up a little bit. There's.
Do you believe the earth is flat?
No.
Why not?
There's not a good reason to believe that biblically.
No, it says right here. It says firmament, which divides the waters from the waters. There's waters above the firmament. Do you believe there's waters above the firmament?
Yeah. So.
Do you think the earth moves?
So. Do I think the earth moves? Yeah.
Why do you think the earth moves? That's right.
I think empirical evidence dictates that.
Evidence. I can see.
You might want to comment on this one. This is not really. Relax. I'm not a flat Earth.
No, you don't believe the Bible. Relax.
All right. So talking to the flat Earther guy, and I was started to say this earlier, but I got lost again because there's so much going on. He is not part of Yahweh's servants in Israel, which now has a member locked up, one member dead. Again, give to Ron Freeman's funeral fund. and also has a member who's been injured, who's the camp leader, Shammai. And this video is the little reaction video that John McCrae took. So he had went back to the car, and he was like, basically, I'm done with messing with these fools. This is his first time experiencing this, and he did like a little quick reaction video. And of course, their response was all to question his sexuality and that kind of thing. You know, that's kind of their deal. Let me play a little bit of his reaction video to give you a sense of what this was like. Now, I've interacted with him multiple times, but it wasn't always recorded. But I'm showing you clips of this to show you this and show you how important gospel evangelism to Hebrew Israelites is, because I'm going to read the news story one more time, a different version, and you guys are going to understand, I hope.
Backstory or something, I don't know. But they were just really hostile people, like super defensive and really hostile. They're stomping around, swinging their arms all crazy and all this. Like, they can't control their anger and the hate that they have in their hearts. And I don't understand the background again. Like, so whatever, however they justify it, whatever. But from the outside, they look crazy. They look like a bunch of crazy people who want to freaking start a riot or something like that, because it's just not normal.
Nobody has convinced them.
All right, so here's a part. So that was John McCrae. Here's a part where there's stuff before and after it, but where the camp leader. So this shows you kind of the way this camp's culture was. So here's the thing. I'm not calling all Hebrew Israelites out. To the Hebrew Israelites in the comment section, stop saying that. I am calling this particular camp out for the kind of culture they had created. And here's the bad part. There's other camps like this group. There's other camps with a similar culture. Now watch this. What I mean similar culture? Carrying weapons out there, threatening people, laying hands on people, all of that type of thing. Being like militarized, weaponized looking, all that type of thing. Here we go.
Nobody has convinced of fucking you up and moving you off the corner.
That's right.
So you can be here. This is public property. Right. But what I say, do not divert. That's right. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about.
What I said is, I was like, well, what about the law? This is edited where you don't hear everything he says, but basically he says, I'm going to move you off the corner myself if you don't listen to me. He's like, yeah, you could be here, but you better do what I say, which is basically saying you can't have your camera out, stuff like that. And then I say, what about the law? He says, I don't care about that. So, by the way, watch out, there's language in this part.
Nobody has convinced of fucking you up and moving you off the corner.
That's right.
So you can be here. This is public property. Right. But what I say, do not divert. That's right. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about the law. We out here saying, listen, we out here saying that the Most High is going to destroy this king. That's right. Right. Get the hell up out of here, man. Come on, man. It's not a fucking circus show. Yeah, man.
I'm allowed to be on camera.
When the Romans came to take your homicide, Peter stood up against him.
So the reader is saying Peter cut off the servant's ear with a sword, and so that's the spirit we're in. I don't know if you guys caught that in the background.
Tell him that, hey,
those who live by the sword will die by the sword. How did you expect that to come? So, hey, it just goes to show you that the way the Lord is ready. Why don't you go say that? Why don't you go tell that to Esau? Just stand up. Go tell that to Esau, man. Go tell that to Esau, man.
That was awesome at the end that said, tell that to Esau. Okay, so you've seen quite a bit. Now, I'm going to go back to the main screen. I have more video clips to show you. I'm actually not going to. I think that was enough. I'm going to, again, request that you guys give to Ron Freeman, who was in the video and has now been murdered by Austin, and to the family, especially to the family, Dasia Patterson. I'm going to read some of the other news stories and comment, because I want to reiterate what's happening and main points, and I think it's very important for us to understand this here. So, this is from the Arizona Republic's website, basically. I think, well, no, it's Channel 3's, I guess it is. azfamily.com. This is April 15, 2019. It's titled, by David Baker, Phoenix man accused of killing family had guns taken away and returned in 2018. Police say the man who killed his wife and daughters had his guns briefly taken away in November, months before the shooting spree. Austin Smith. Dateline Phoenix. The Phoenix Police Department said on Monday that the man accused of going on a shooting spree had his guns taken away and given back to him days later in 2018. Police said that on November 21st, 2018, officers were called out to the home of Austin Smith because somebody said he had a gun and was yelling that people were trying to kill him. This is part of the paranoia. Almost every Hebrew Israelite I know is paranoid. And it feeds into some of their issues. When officers arrived, Smith had a handgun and a holster on his hip, police said, which he had weapons and a holster on the hip when I talked to him at his camp as well, although I'm not sure if it was a handgun or what other kind of weapon it was. Smith was cooperative and surrendered to police. But because of his behavior, officers recommended Smith be put in the urgent psychiatric center, and they impounded his 3 guns for safekeeping, according to police. 7 days later, Smith got his guns back after a records check found he didn't have any outstanding warrants. Notice that. He didn't have any warrants, and it was legal for him to have the guns. This seems like a guy who could have been good, and Hebrew Israelism pushed him over the edge. I don't know, man. I don't know how else to say it. So the guns were returned to him, police said. Smith faces 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of attempted first-degree murder, and 3 counts of aggravated assault in connection to last week's shootings. Police said he went on the shooting spree because he believed his wife was having an affair. And the original story is linked, Phoenix man accused of killing wife, daughter say God told him to shoot. And again, the news is almost interpreting it as he got a message from God. But what he's saying is, in connection with the law, statute, commandments, that if she's having an affair, I should kill her. He's enacting the judgment. But that's a misunderstanding of the new covenant, number 1. And number 2, it's a misapplication of the old covenant law, because that's not even the way you would do it anyway. And it's not even listening to Jesus. Now, John 7:53, 8 through 11, the pericope adulterae, is not in the original text of John, but it could be a historical agrapha, meaning something that Jesus said or did that just was not attached to a gospel, and that's why it was attached in some places to Luke and some places to John. Sorry, I'm getting into brief textual criticism here. But even if Jesus did not do that, meaning there's a woman brought in adultery, and he said, he who's without sin cast the first stone, that shows you what Christians believe Jesus' rabbinical teaching ruling would have been under New Covenant circumstance, which is mercy is what's dictated. We're in a different situation in theocratic political Israel. We're not in that kind of kingdom. It's a different kind of kingdom, but it's a kingdom where Jesus says, "My followers aren't about weapons; otherwise they'd be here with a bunch of guns, swords, and then that, to Pilate trying to free me." Right? Anyways. Misunderstanding of kingdom and covenant is a big issue for Hebrew Israelites and has practical implications. On Thursday night, police said Austin shot and killed his 29-year-old wife, Dasia Patterson, his 5-year-old daughter, Nosh Smith, at their home near 71st Avenue and Camelback Road. I know exactly where that is. By the way, please support the family of Dasia Patterson. The GoFundMe link is on the bottom of the page. Let them know you're a Christian when you do it, please. A GoFundMe account has been set up to help with the family's funeral expenses. How much can we raise, Christians? Guys, tell me where it's at. Someone look at it and tell me how much we've raised in the past hour and a half. I hope it's something. I hope it could be at least $1,000. Can we get to $1,000, guys? More for them? Police also found the couple's 3-year-old daughter hiding under the bed. She was not harmed. Police said Austin then went over to an apartment near 67th Avenue and Indian School. So if you know Phoenix, 71st Avenue, Camelback, is north, slightly northwest of 67th Avenue and Indian School. Indian School is, I think, about the 4100 block north, and Camelback's like the 5000 block. My point is, Indian School is the next major block south from Camelback, so it's pretty close, so he's able to drive there before anyone was really alerted. It's a relatively close drive between these two spots. Police said Austin then went over to an apartment near 67th Avenue and Indian School Road where his brother was staying. He thought his brother was having an affair with his wife. A family friend opened the door, police said, and Austin shot him multiple times. So that means Ron Freeman answered the door. He opens the door. And he kills him. And he lays down on the floor and he shoots him again. And the way it says is that he told him the belief and he said it was crazy. Police said 46-year-old Ron Freeman died at the scene. And that was the large guy, real quiet guy. He hardly said anything. But he had a pretty gentle vibe about him. He had a gentle, quiet spirit overall. He's a big man. And I could tell if he wasn't Hebrew Israelite, again, there's a guy I could have been cool with. But no one deserves to be murdered, basically. You know, this is tragic. Again, give to Ron Freeman's Memorial Fund. The link's at the bottom of the page. Someone let me know how much we've raised. 6,000. Okay, thank you, D. New. They've got 6,000 out of the 30,000. How much has been raised in the past hour, D. New? Do you know? Someone donated $500? Oh, praise God! Hey, guys. This is what I'm talking about. This broadcast is tragic, but it will not be in vain if a Hebrew Israelite can hear the gospel, if someone can wake up a family member, and honestly, also if we can show Christian love and hospitality to the GoFundMe. Do you guys know Assyrian Relief, the person that gave $500, were they a Christian? Did they say anything? It could be coincidence. I don't know. But praise God, whoever that was. Praise God. Someone just gave $500. So if our goal is 1,000, we're halfway there. Reading the news story again. We're wrapping the show up here at this point, and I'm going to look at your comments here in a second. Okay, Ron has went up as well. Praise God. This is what this is about. Smith then went to his car and came back with a rifle. Police said he shot 2 more people. That'd be his camp leader and the 47-year-old woman. 47-year-old woman was taken to the hospital in critical condition. A 33-year-old man was hospitalized with injuries not considered life-threatening. It's unclear whether he is Austin's brother. So according to other reports I read, it appears it is his brother, from what I've read. Austin was arrested a short time later. He told detectives during an interview that he believed, quote, in God's eyes, it was all right for him to deal with someone in this manner who had been involved in adultery or an extramarital affair, Sergeant Tommy Thompson said. Now, that's closer to what a Hebrew Israelite would say. Did you guys hear that? Other quotes are like paraphrasing him, saying God told him to shoot it. That doesn't shoot them. That doesn't sound right. The detectives, Tommy Thompson relating this quote must be much closer to what Austin said. And so it appears the detectives are more careful than whatever the paraphrases got to be, because notice this: in God's eyes, it was all right for him to deal with someone in this manner who had been involved in adultery or an extramarital affair. You catch that? Police said Osman had a 9mm handgun, a .45 caliber handgun, and a .223 caliber rifle that he used in the shootings. This is the last story I'm going to read. This is the original story on azfamily.com, because there's a couple things in here I want to relay, and then we'll be done with the news stories and take a look at the comments. And again, let's see how much we raise. April 12th. This is one of the first stories to appear about this. This is the one Rob Dome sent me. Phoenix man accused of killing wife daughter says God told him to shoot. Police say a 30-year-old Phoenix man has admitted killing his wife, 2 of his young daughters, and another man, all because he believed his wife was having an affair. Police say he also shot and injured 2 other people. Austin Smith faces 4 counts of first-degree murder, one count of attempted first-degree murder, and 3 counts of aggravated assault. A judge on Friday set a $2 million cash-only bond for him. The violence happened at 2 separate crime scenes. The first scene was at Smith's home near 71st Avenue, Camelback Road. Then, there, officers found a woman and 2 little girls dead inside the home. The victim's side suspect's 29-year-old wife, Dasia Patterson, 2 of his daughters, 5-year-old Nash Smith, and 7-year-old Man Smith. Patterson and Nash died from gunshot wounds. According to Phoenix police, police say mine died from blunt force trauma. Smith later told police he confronted his wife after she arrived home from a local bar. According to the police report, she denied the affair, but Smith shot her anyway because he believed God told him to do so. The police report states Smith shot his 5-year-old daughter because she had exhibited bad behavior he deemed against God's laws. This is very similar to the other one. I don't think I need to read all this. Yeah. There's another story where it mentioned a number of times about him mentioning the commands of God. But I'm not able to find that one right now. And I think you guys have got the idea. I think you guys have got the idea here. Yeah, we're going to be done with that. Let me just make sure here. All right. So, let's rewind here. Austin Smith, 5 years ago, was kicked out of GMS along with several other members of this local Phoenix GMS chapter. So, they were no longer GMS. GMS is one of the worst, doctrinally speaking, out of all the One West Hebrew Israelites. I haven't in this broadcast been able to explain Hebrew Israelites and all that. You have to go to another show for that. But I'm explaining this current event. I have not commented on all the tragedies involving Hebrew Israelites. The situation that just happened with the young girl Joy over there in the UK, I never made a comment about it. It didn't involve me, and my job is not just to report dirt on Hebrew Israelites. There's a whole bunch of other stories I could talk about. A couple of years ago, another one happened here in Phoenix where a man killed his family, another Hebrew Israelite. It was totally underreported. Totally underreported. I only mentioned it one time. This is different because I personally know the injured man as the camp leader. I know one of the men who was murdered, and I know the murderer. And I've dealt with them multiple times. See, this is different. And it's right in my neighborhood. They're right over there in my backyard, and I've spoken with all of them. So he did this because he thought he was being truthful to the law, Old Testament law, even though he wasn't even enacting it properly, and it's a misunderstanding of kingdom and covenants with what he did. That's a whole other show as well. And this shows some problems with Hebrew Israelism and some of the culture that some of the camps create. And to be honest, Tahar, I know that you guys kicked this camp out 5 years ago, but you guys still need to come out, I think, and talk about this and explain why he was out of line. Explain why a lot of times the people involved with these types of things tend to be ex-GMS members, such as the story in the Carolinas. Let me look. I'm gonna find that story because I don't want to. While I'm doing that, guys, give to the GoFundMe, okay? You guys give to the GoFundMe. My point is, this is. Yeah, I wish it was. No, it's not. We know the Israelites are going to be mad about this, but I believe I've done this as much as I can in a godly way. Yeah, 2011. Just look this story up. 7 charged in alleged cult murder of woman, child in North Carolina. This is in Durham, North Carolina, 2011. The name is Peter Moses. Just look that up if you want to see. And this is also an ex-GMS guy. So there's a culture there, and some of these guys go further than Tahar. You guys are going to have to talk about this, though. And also, unless you guys just didn't know about this, why has no one that's a Hebrew Israelite spoken about this since this happened Thursday? It's what day is it now? It's Wednesday. It's been almost a week, and no Hebrew Israelites have talked about this. Not a single one. I guess I could say maybe you guys didn't know, but how is it that no Hebrew Israelites knew about this? Because these guys are connected to other camps. I know GMS LA knows what's going on, but no one's called this out. No one's spoken about this. There's more to say about this. I have some more insight about this, but we're going to stop here. This has been a difficult show. I want to reiterate, this is not all Hebrew Israelites. This is the last time I'm going to say this. But it is specific camp, and it does point problems with the doctrine. And to be frank, a lot of the accepted behavior within this religion. Please give to Dasia Patterson. Those little girls are dead, and we gotta pay for their funeral. The mom is dead, and they got to get their little girl back. Pray for that family. Pray for Cynthia. Let them know you're a Christian when you donate. Donate, people. Donate. Ron Freeman, he's leaving behind 8. Yes, he was a Hebrew Israelite, but let's show that Christians can outgive Hebrew Israelites when it comes to paying for memorial funds. Let's do this. Let's do this. And let them know you're a Christian. Make it a witness. Let's do this. Pray for Austin Smith's soul. Pray for his soul. I want to read a couple verses as I close. I'm going to read a couple verses here, guys, as I close out. And I know I said I was going to look at the comment section. I am not going to be able to. I'm sorry. But this is still important to say, okay? Matthew 5:4. You know what that says? Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. From the interviews I saw, it seems like Cynthia Patterson may be a believer. And this especially goes for her. Cynthia, blessed. You mourn, you'll be comforted. Revelation 21:4. What's it say? What's the hope and the promise? This is Jesus teaching. Isn't that beautiful? Blessed are those who mourn, you'll be comforted. Revelation 21:4 says, God himself will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the old order of things has passed. Isn't that good? Isn't that good? I want to share another one. Psalm 147:3. You know how Yahweh is described in the Old Testament? He healeth the broken in heart. He heals the broken hearts and bindeth up their wounds. Hear that? He heals the brokenhearted. There's a lot of brokenhearted people because of the situation. But you know what? God will heal that. This is a God who willingly committed himself to dying for the sins of wicked sinners. And guess what? That's what Good Friday is. You guys know that this Friday, we recognize the death of Christ on the cross. You know what? That's beautiful because he didn't have to die. He's perfect. He knows pain. He knows being wrongly accused. He knows being murdered when he's truly innocent. He directly understands in a way that no one else does. And Psalm 34:18 backs that up. It says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted." Don't you love that? The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. Judah Lion Roar 777. I'm not deleting Hebrews Light comments. That's my moderators, and they delete them when you guys are wild. I don't have time to moderate with over 200 people in here today. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. That's beautiful. Let me read one more here from Psalm, because this is really the message of Scripture, not what happened here in Phoenix last Thursday. Austin Smith, at the hands of Austin Smith. Psalm 116, verse 15. It says this: "Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his godly ones." And I kind of think that might include his little ones. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his godly ones, especially when it's the murder of them. And lastly, Romans chapter 12, verse 15. Remember this: "Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep." Those are beautiful. Those are beautiful, aren't they? Now again, I am requesting for you guys give to the funeral funds here, and just watch how you deal with Hebrew Israelites over the next coming days in general. But we call this out, but yet we deal with them in love, and we see how important this work is. So I ask that we be in prayer, the Urban Apologetics community be in prayer. And with that, guys, I'm going to sign out here, okay? I'm going to sign out. Be in prayer. I'm going to sign out.